So Tim, thanks for joining me to talk about Volkswagen. You guys are coming off the best first quarter that you've had since '73, right? Sales were up 35%. What do you attribute that to?
Actually, certainly product. We've had a very successful product offensive that started with Jetta about 18 months ago, maybe 20 months ago. And then last year we added the new Passat, which was specifically designed for this market, and the Beetle, really the third generation Beetle in its history. And so all of that has really contributed. I think the marketing's been pretty smart on top of it.
So you've got the product, obviously, but you said that really, you've done some really innovative things with marketing. Talk a little bit about that, and why has that been driving, or to what extent has that been driving the sales, really?
I mean, I think a couple of things. When you look at the VW advertising, VW communications, we tell very simple stories, and we talk about human stories told simply. And so the messaging is not overly hyperbolic, it's not sort of fantastic. They're really real life stories, and they're very emotional. They really kind of grab you. We use music and things like that. The Super Bowl spot a year ago was probably one of the most recognizable spots of 2011, and in the social space now over 50 million views, which is, I don't think YouTube has ever had a video that's
Now
that's
you're talking about both the Darth Vader commercial of last year's Super Bowl as
and
well
then,
as the Barkside teaser.
And then the Barkside teaser was interesting. So how do you follow up on something like that?
And everybody was waiting to see.
Exactly, and so we decided that we would make the comparison that everyone inevitably would make. And we started with this teaser campaign, and we kind of wanted our competitors to think to a certain extent we were going to make Darth Vader too. So we started with the dogs barking, the Imperial March, and that went overnight crazy.
So, I mean, how do you, what do you prioritize when you're looking at new creative? I mean, what do you want to make sure that it absolutely has?
Sure. All of the work sits under this banner, the power of German engineering. And that's the connective glue that holds the communications together. We think that's smart on a variety of levels. In an attempt to grow and certainly grab share from competitors, Asian competitors, domestic competitors, we think probably the best way to do that is to be who we are, and we're a German company. And when you look at German brands, we're the one that is the most accessible, most affordable. There really are no other, even European brands that kind of participate in the space that we do. So everything has to pay off that line, and it can pay it off in an emotional way, so that the German engine can make you feel good, make you smile, make you happy, make you it's a rational payoff, so it might have X amount of airbags or TDI clean diesel or go 795 miles on a tank of gas. And then there's also an economic power that you get good value.
What has changed about your target consumer, and sort of what consumer insights are you particularly paying attention to, so that you make sure that you're staying true to your established course, if you will, while also taking into consideration the way your target consumer may be evolving?
I think the way the consumer today is consuming media is quite different. I mean, the advent of mobile and the access to information really allows us to think beyond just the TV screen. We did, I think, an interesting integration last year when the Beetle was launched. So, I mean, what do you say about the Beetle? It's an iconic model, and so we launched with this theme, It's Back. And there was a spot called High Five shot here in New York with the vehicle kind of running through the streets. But there were a variety of integrations. And one of the biggest changes to the physical product was the slight shape. It had gone more back to kind of the original, kind of a bit more to the first generation Beetle. So the headline was Profile Update. Now that played off of the social space and Facebook and updating your profile. And we did an integration in Times Square where you could go to the Beetle page, and if you liked the new Beetle, it would take your profile picture and post it up in Times Square, and then redistribute it back to you and post it out to your friends that you were in Times Square and you liked the new Beetle. So figuring out how to connect all of these mediums and still not forget about the importance of things like TV and print are really, I think, important.
What can we expect to see from VW then moving forward as far as new advertising?
Yeah, new advertising, I mean, what we've done, we started this process when I arrived last year of planning out our messaging over 24 months. And so we sit down mid-year, we're actually getting ready to kick that off now. Our plans are fundamentally locked for the end of the year. And then we'll take a look at the entire next year, calendar year. And then, as often happens, it crashes down to the end of January or December 31st. And so then you really need to think about what's going to happen in the front end of the next year. So that's why we have a 24-month planning horizon with a heavy emphasis on what happens next year. We have some, I think, interesting stuff that'll come towards the fall around the elections that'll be very sort of VW-like and very has the potential to go viral, but will put a smile on people's faces. Product-wise, we add diesel to the Beetle line in the middle part of the year, and later this year comes our second hybrid in the line, the Jetta hybrid, and then Beetle Cabrio will come as well, so the soft top version of the Beetle. So great product momentum coming, and I think really good marketing momentum as well.